Hello, everyone, everywhere. This is Pastor Robert Thibodeau. Welcome to your Freedom Through Faith video minute for today, June 30th. Today, we'll be taking our scripture reading from Mark chapter 10. And it's a long chapter. I want to go all the way down towards the end in verse 46. And they came to Jericho, and as he went out of Jericho with his disciples, a great number of people followed. Blind Bartimaeus, the son of Timaeus, sat by the highway side begging. And when he heard that it was Jesus of Nazareth, he began to cry out to say, "Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me." And many charged him that he should hold his peace. But he cried out the more, a great deal, saying, "You, hey, Son of David, have mercy on me." And Jesus stood still and commanded him to be called. And they called the blind man, saying to him, "Be of good cheer, be of good comfort, for he calls for you." And he, casting away his garment, rose and came to Jesus. And Jesus answered and said to him, "What would you like me to do for you?" And the blind man said to him, "Lord, that I may receive my sight." And Jesus said to him, "Go your way, your faith has made you whole." And immediately he received his sight and followed Jesus in the way. Now, I could preach in several different directions just from what we've just read, and I could preach for an hour easy on each one of those subject matters. But what I want to get to is when Jesus called for him in verse 51 and in verse 52, when Jesus called for him and he came, Jesus said, "What will you that I should do unto you?" In other words, he just said, "You called for me. What would you like me to do for you?" Now, there could have been several things blind Bartimaeus could have asked for. He could have asked that, his sight be healed and his family, his finances be healed, and that he needed a good job and in order to provide for his family, and he needs to do this and that. He went to the one thing. You see, blind Bartimaeus had been blind for a while, and the garment he had on was a garment given to those that are by the wayside begging for money. They're authorized to do that. You see homeless people holding up signs, will work for food or whatever, even today. Back in that day, it was illegal to ask for donations except if you had government authorization. And that garment he had on was his beggar's garment. Everybody in the area knew that if he's wearing that, he is authorized. You see little lemonade stands, we'll say, popping up, and you hear articles on Facebook or whatever where the local authorities shut down the lemonade stand because they did not have a permit. Well, this blind beggar had a garment on that was an indication of his permit from the government to sit by the highway side at that location and ask the passerbys for money. When he was called to Jesus, the one thing he had on his mind was receiving his sight. You see, he believed that if he received his sight, he could get a job. He could make make good money and help support his family. And it all focused around that one thing that he needed. And when Jesus said, "What would you like me to do for you?" he was very quick about it. "Lord, that I might receive my sight." He didn't go into a long, detailed thing about, "Man, I want to be blessed in my finances. I want to have a good job. I want to have more children. And No. He focused on that one thing. "Lord, that I might receive my sight." And Jesus said, "Be it unto you according to your faith." That's a big answer right there. If you don't believe Jesus can do it, it doesn't matter what you ask for. If you don't believe Jesus can heal you, you're never going to receive your healing. If you don't believe Jesus can bless you, you're not going to receive the blessing. You're not going to receive the promotions, the favor, the increase in finances, whatever it is. Focus it down. Write it down on paper. Lord, pay off my bills. Okay, in order to do that, I need to receive additional money. In order to do that, I need to receive an additional job. In order to do that, I have to have favor with those that I'm applying to work there. So the focus is on the favor of God. You need the favor of God. And then you go back to Exodus 3:21-22, Exodus 12:36, that says, we have been given the favor of God. So you already have the favor of God. So Lord, I need faith to believe that I have the favor of God. That's the one thing. The finances, the jobs, and all these other things can get niched down to one thing. You need to believe you have the favor of God. Here, blind Bartimaeus said, Lord, that I might receive my sight. Jesus said to him, be it unto you according to your faith. Your faith has made you whole. And immediately he received his sight. It wasn't a gradual transition like, oh wow, what's happening? I don't know. It says immediately. I mean, he was blind 1 minute and went, boop, eyes wide open. And then it says, and he followed Jesus in the way. Like I said, I could preach on that. Basically, he became a follower of Jesus. And wouldn't you, if you were blind and he restored your sight? That's all the time we have for today. Glory to God. Like I said, I could preach on and on about that. But I want you to understand that you have to have faith to get what you want. If you have any questions, comments, send them to Brother Bob at ftfm.org and let me know. Until next time, this is Pastor Robert Thibodeau reminding you to be blessed in all that you do.